All right, well, with that, let's get started. It is a couple minutes after the hour, and we'll get started. So once again, my name is Cameron Laird. I am the product director for the advertising products in the marketplace at Inside Real Estate. And I'm really excited to be sharing this new product with you guys today, which is our Get Seller Leads product. Today, it's going to be a brief overview, lots of time for questions as well. And we're just going to go through this product and give you an idea of what it does and how to get started using it. It is essentially a product that's designed to allow you to showcase yourself as the online expert locally to homeowners, buyers, and sellers in your local market that they are looking to partner and sell with. And unlike other advertising products that we have, like Property Boost and some of our other Google and Facebook products, this one is geared towards creating a lead flow that is targeted toward home sellers. So I'll just move on to the next slide here. So what this product is essentially an easy button approach to creating an ad campaign targeting sellers. We fully manage and create these ads for you. So there's no worrying about how it looks, how to get it running, how to keep it flowing leads into your kvCORE database. Everything is set up for you, making it super easy. And you don't have to worry about any complex tools outside of kvCORE either. If you go off and create a campaign for yourself, like what we're doing, there's a lot more to it than just going into Facebook and creating an ad. There's creating the creative. There's also the integration between Facebook and kvCORE that you have to worry about to get your leads coming in. The nice thing about this system for you is that everything is all set up. It comes right into your kvCORE database. All of your leads that are coming in will be filterable by hashtag. We'll automatically apply a hashtag called kvSellerPaid to make it really easy for you to identify those leads. And when they come in, we actually automatically trigger a smart campaign to go on top of that as well, so that any of the leads that are coming in are automatically going to be starting to receive communications from you without you having to do anything. The nice thing about this is that it starts off with that initial home value estimate that we send to them. We also sign them up for a monthly market report that they'll get automatically. And we have a whole bunch of contacts that will go to them through text messaging, email, and also with your tasks in your kvCORE database to make it easy for you to keep up with them as well. Like I said, again, there's no complex setup with this either. Everything is done for you. So you don't have to learn how to do Facebook ads. You don't have to worry about Google ads in the future. Super important for us because as we let this product evolve and mature, we will be adding additional channels to it. You don't have to worry about Zapier or getting anything else to get your leads into kvCORE. We do it all for you and make it super easy. So the advertisements, they look like this, kind of generic imagery that has an overlay on it to sort of entice you about your local market. So this one here is, say, Morrisville, for example. We put those on top of the image to customize it, make it look, a little bit more enticing to people. But what I want to draw your attention to is the call to action. On this one, we're looking to try and draw people in to get a detailed home value report. The idea here is to try and differentiate this from something like the automated evaluation that you would get on like Zillow or something to that effect. We're trying to encourage people to go also beyond just that initial report and reach out and really use your skills as a realtor, get data from the MLS and get it into these people's hands as quickly as possible so that we are getting them going. So a couple of points about this ad. They're created in-house by our advertising team. They're designed by our experts to draw in prospective sellers. We're trying to also have this call to action that encourages people to opt in, clicking on that learn more button, which is sort of triggering them off to another site where they're going to fill in their information. And this actually, the interesting thing about this is that it actually generates relatively high intent leads compared to other Facebook ads, because it's not just a passive click and an automated pre-filled form. It's going to a form where they actually have to fill in their address and provide some additional information. So we're seeing that engagement leads to a higher intent lead from what you would get from just a passive lead form. Click on something like Property Boost. The lead actually needs to engage with the ad, but then they also need to engage with the lead form on the next page. So it's pretty neat that we're seeing this. From the ad, when they click on to learn more, it takes them to this next page on your kvCORE website. And what this is a customized lead form, a lead capture form that we've built to encourage people to provide their address and get that home value information. What I'll draw your attention to is a couple of things here. You can see in the header, we've included things like city and the valuation, the average value for homes inside of that city. The reason we've done that is to try and put a little bit more information on the screen to draw people in. It's a really simple form. It's 2 steps. They click on this step here, they enter in their address, and when they submit that, it's going to ask them for their name and their email address. On the next step, we actually try to pre-populate the contact information for the lead by looking it up into a system that we have with data available to us to make it super easy for them. Now, unlike other ad products that we have, like with Facebook advertising that include a lead form, we are not able to actually capture address information through lead forms anymore. So we've come up with this way to be able to capture this data and also make it quicker for people to get that information into your kvCORE system by automating the capture of the name and the email address. Now, you might be asking yourself, why are we not capturing phone numbers? And we did some real testing on this. We did build this form and do some conversion testing. We found that having that phone number there was really deterring people from filling out the form, and even if it was optional. So we took it away, but we are going to be bringing out a form in the near future that will add some additional information back into this form after the lead has been submitted, giving us the ability to go back and capture some data like phone number or any additional information about the property to make the evaluation a little bit better. Any questions, Nick, on the Q&A that we need to address as we move through here?
Yeah, just Tommy, just checking in, where the ads being routed to today versus where they might be in the future. If you can just speak to that real quick.
Absolutely.
On what's automated.
So today the ads are actually running on Facebook today, but we are running some tests right now. Katie's running some tests in the background where we're actually taking that and looking to route some of these advertisements as well through Google to get it on the display network as well. But right now it is just Facebook where we're running these ads for the time being. Anything else we've seen in the chat?
You might be getting to it, but just some of the early conversion metrics or performance.
Yeah,
just speaking to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a couple of minutes, just a couple more slides. So,
awesome.
Okay, cool. So we'll move right along there. So from the lead form, we're capturing those leads. They're coming into your kvCORE database. And then the next step of this is that we actually are adding in this predefined program that all of these leads are going on to. So we're actually adding them into this smart campaign, which is a 390-day run. So we're actually running for 390 days after we get that initial email from them, or that initial lead capture. That includes emails, texts, tasks, call reminders. And on top of that, we're also doing the monthly market report. So that is all automated for you. The really nice thing about this is that we're giving you a starting point. It has all the different touch points at the different times throughout the lead's lifespan in your database, but you can go in there and you can create whatever you want. You can add in additional contacts. You can add in different content into those emails as well, but everything is going to show up right in your kvCORE dashboard with all of the pending and completed activities all showing there. You'll see when the lead is created right on your timeline. You'll get their full address and the valuation that was provided to them. It's all showing up in the timeline, and then you can take it from there and start engaging with people right away using that. So a question about pricing always comes up. So the options on this one starts at $500 a month and goes up to $1,500 on a $500 a month plan. We are currently seeing the performance to date. And again, this is kind of an early stage. We had some people add into this program early on. We're seeing about 10 to 20 leads per month at a fairly, that $20 to $40 cost per lead. And this is across all of the accounts that have had at least a month of activity. And again, this varies greatly from market to market and based on the conditions and the geography. But that's kind of what we're seeing right now in terms of cost per lead and the lead engagements that are coming in there, that 10 to 20 per month. Some are higher and some are lower. So you're getting that sort of range across the board. And that's what it's looking at right now. But again, this is early. This is a fairly new program that we've had rolled out with just a few people have got onto it so far. And again, that varies greatly based on the market conditions and geography. I see a question in here about, is it local to one town only, or can we have multiple markets? Right now, we're only capturing one zip code. It's zip code based right now. So it is just one zip code. If you want to have multiple markets, you have multiple campaigns running. Any other questions here, Nick, in the chat or Q&A?
Yeah, Cameron, just with this cost range, Karen Rigo,
Yep.
I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I was just asking kind of what determines whether their budget would fall within this range.
Yeah, so I mean, what determines the cost is based on the ad spend that we put forward. So, we are managing this for you. So there's a management fee that comes off of that. But depending on the more you spend with the program, the more ad spend that goes into it. So, as your spend increases, the ad is going to reach more people and a wider audience, and potentially turn into more leads and clicks. I see a question here from how leads are qualified. There is no lead qualification as part of this. That's kind of up to you to take those leads in from your kvCORE database, and then do the qualification there to get people into a seller's mode. There's a question here about conversion rate. Again, this is fairly early. We're not seeing, I haven't got any conversion rates yet from people, but you can expect these are going to be a probably mid-term type of transaction time frame. So you're probably going to work these people for 3 to 6 months before you start to see any activity in terms of them listing. But higher intent based on the amount of activity you have to go through to get to the actual lead submission, but still probably a midterm type of conversion is what I would expect. And there's a question here about targeting specific communities. Is it possible? So we're not drilling down into specific communities. With Facebook and with a lot of the advertising rules now that are out there, we're localized to a 15-mile radius of a center point. So basically what we do is we take your zip code, we draw a circle around it that's 15 miles wide, and that's the limit of what we're allowed to target. We can't actually target a named community. So if you're talking about like a neighborhood, for example, within a city, you're going to be able to target the entire portion of the city that falls into a zip code. And if that zip code includes that community, I would suggest using that, because we can't actually make the circle any smaller than that. It's all going to be based on that 15-mile radius. The question here, how does it target seller leads versus general real estate? Typically, it's based on the call to action and the content that's on there. So, when somebody is passively scrolling through Facebook and they see a property boost, for example, with a listing that generally sparks, general real estate interest. But this one is actually, if you look, I'll go back to my slides with the actual image. So if we look at the actual call to action here, are you selling in Morrisville? Click check out this free detailed home value report to see how much your home might be worth. The call to action is is targeting seller leads versus general real estate. And that's how we've tested this out, and that's what seems to be working. Is you're going through the steps, putting in an address, and that's really what we're doing to generate those seller leads versus general real estate.
Hey, Cameron, just a couple people asked, can you just confirm the information we capture for folks that interact with the ad and fill out the lead form, just so they know what data they'll have in their kvCORE?
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll get their full address. So they enter in the address, they select it from a drop down which has the full street address, the city, the state, the zip code, and then also you'll get their name and email address in this first go round.
And then Elizabeth's just asking about the zip codes. Like, is it the owner? Is it the property? Maybe you can just speak to kind of like how that geographic information is just based off of what's in Facebook.
Sorry, phrase that one more time, Nick, so I can follow along there.
They're just, I think probably they're just do the different ads products handling a
Oh, I
location
see.
differently? Just what does the zip code mean in terms
Oh,
of
yes. Yeah,
what's
absolutely.
targeting here?
Yeah, so basically what we're doing is zip code is the is kind of the identifier that we're using of the area that you wish to target. You pick your zip code, and then what we do is we use that zip code to create a geographic area that anybody who is within that geographic area, which is 15 miles of the center of the zip code, that is that's who we're targeting. So it doesn't have anything to do with an address, unlike Property Boost, for example, where you have a listing that has a zip code, and we're drawing a radius that's 15 miles around that specific listing. You're just giving us a zip code that we're using to create a targeting radius. That's how that works. There's some questions here around how often does the ad run. This is a month-to-month subscription, so we actually require a 3-month commitment up front. So when you sign up, we ask for that 3-month commitment because it is a product that takes a little bit of time to ramp up. So we want you to stick with it for those 3 months, and then it is month-to-month after that. So $500, for example, is your monthly subscription fee in the base package. So you're going to pay $500 every month, and that's going to be running in perpetuity until you cancel it. So the nice thing about this program is that it's always on. So you don't have to worry about going back and doing another one next month. It's always going to be running for you. It's in the background. You're going to see those KV seller paid leads coming into your dashboard every month. You don't have to worry about that.
Cameron, do you happen to have a representative example of the report that's getting sent out by the kvCORE campaign, or is that something I can just send out with the recording?
Yeah, we'll send it
tomorrow?
out with the recording. I do have some screenshots of that I meant to put into the deck and neglected to. So we'll certainly get that, and we'll include that with the recording tomorrow.
Maybe you can just confirm this is again integrated with kvCORE, so a lot of that stuff's being
Correct.
powered. It's being fed by the seller leads product, but the actual nurturing and reports are powered by kvCORE.
Correct, 100%. Yeah. So the market report is essentially what you see in kvCORE today. So if you've done that before, if you've added an address into market reports and signed somebody up, that's what we're automating for you. So the nice thing about the way this is set up is that you're having these leads come into your database, and they're automatically getting that first report. You don't have to do anything to prepare that for them. They're getting that initial step. What I would say is, from a pro tip perspective, is that as soon as you see these come in, you reach out, get more information about the person's property, try to build upon that valuation to do as best you can to get them the best possible value. Go into the MLS, pull whatever data you have access to that might not fit into what's in kvCORE, but really try to build as detailed a report and as detailed a communication with them as possible to get that valuation. But if you want to look at a starting point, it's what's based in kvCORE. So you can go in, you can see those market reports today. They're all there.
Hey, Cameron, can you repeat again what details they get with the leads? I know it was name, email, and
you get the full address, with the street address, zip, city, and street address. Everything that's what's included there.
Okay.
There's a question here about, is there a cap on how many agents can advertise in a given zip code? There is. So it varies from zip code to zip code, but we do want to try and maintain the quality of the leads. So we are keeping an eye on the population of zip code agents in a zip code, and we're trying not to dilute that. But the nice thing about this system is that all the leads that come to you are unique to you. So if it comes to you first, you are the only agent that gets a crack at that lead. It is your lead, you own it, and you can nurture it through to a transaction. We don't recycle the leads amongst other agents. It's just that the population of agents that are getting leads is what we are restricting. So we're not diluting that too much.
Cameron, can you just confirm with the zip code basis, are we making that exclusive or limiting the number of agents that can purchase a given zip code?
Yeah, that's what I was just going through there, is saying that, yeah, we are keeping an eye on that and trying not to dilute the population of amongst too many agents. So we are limiting it, and we will do a check on every order that comes in to make sure that the zip code is available. And then we'll let you know if if we need you to select an alternate one when you purchase.
Someone just asking for the distinction between this and property boost. Maybe it's just kind of a good way to show like why you would use the different options.
Yeah,
depending on your
absolutely.
needs.
Yeah, absolutely. So property boost is a single property listing ad that goes out on Facebook. They tend to get a higher volume of leads coming in with lower intent. So if you want to kind of like create a well-rounded collection of leads coming into your kvCORE database, you can mix and match the programs together. So typically what you're getting coming from Property Boost is buyers and renters are coming in and looking at those listings. This is targeting specifically people who are looking to sell their home and get a valuation for a home that they already own. And because of the nature of the ad and the way that you interact with it, we are sort of encouraging a higher intent lead coming in there. But the difference between the two is all in the approach. When you have a listing and it's talking about a listing that's just listed, you tend to encourage buyers to click through those. Not saying you can't convert them into sellers if they also have a home to sell, but this program is intended to be always on, so it's not something you have to go back and boost again and again and again. It's always running, and the copy and the ad content is geared more towards somebody who has a home to sell and wants a valuation on it versus somebody who's looking at a listing potentially to buy something. So that's the big difference between the two.
Lenora K here's asking if a broker can sign up and have routing rules to kind of assign the seller leads coming here to other recruits or team members.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're signing up at the top level of from your sort of as the admin to an account as the broker, yeah, you can certainly key off of those leads that are coming in and use the hashtag, for example, the KV seller paid as your key, and then use routing rules to route that. Absolutely.
I think there's just a question too, again, since this is zip code based, there's some folks asking, can they get more than one zip code at a time? Like, can they maintain more than one subscription of get seller leads in two different areas?
Yeah, absolutely. We can have multiple. So if you wanted to spend $1,500, for example, instead of buying one campaign at $1,500, you could split that across 3 different campaigns at $500 each, and split it. Absolutely, we can do that. That's it's basically 3 purchases with different zip codes. There is a question here about pausing after the initial 3 months as opposed to canceling. Pausing is difficult in this type of ad product, because as soon as you pause an ad, it goes back into learning mode. So you essentially, by pausing, you are canceling. So it doesn't really benefit you anything by canceling an ad. So we only have the concept of canceling. So at the end of your 3 months, you can turn off the ad product if you want to. But if you're going to restart again, it's going to go back through the whole learning process, and anything that existed prior is going to basically get wiped out and start over again, because a restarted ad looks kind of like a new ad. So. The question here about how often the ad runs, it does run daily, so they're running constantly. And we will optimize a bit. So for example, if the learning basically says that the ads aren't performing at all on a Thursday for whatever reason, because it happens, some markets perform better on different days, you may see the spend sort of move around a bit, but we do typically run them every day. There's a question here about how this is different from Nosy Neighbor. It's different in terms of this is a lead generation program versus a relationship product. Nick, you're a little more familiar with Nosy than I am. Is there any other differences that we could kind of spell out here on this
Yeah,
versus Nosy?
Nosy Neighbor, it's broader reach, but it's farming, not lead generation. So Nosy Neighbor, it's all about like a very long-term investment to have a lot of visibility in a zip code, knowing that most of that visibility is people who might be, 6, 12, 24 months away from becoming a seller. Whereas this product, again, that you can see in the ad that Cameron is showing, it's specifically trying to get people to convert that are closer to that selling moment. So we kind of draw a distinction. We call this like a lead generation product for likely sellers, and Nosy more of a farming / prospecting tool. So yeah, it's just a question about overall volume versus proximity to them actually being a client.
Great answer. Thanks, Nick. There's a question here about will I be owning the lead when I get them? And absolutely, you are the exclusive agent to those leads. Once they're in your kvCORE, they belong to you. So if they were to respond to somebody else's ad, it would basically be rejected as a duplicate after they've ended up in your database already. So we do that. There is that exclusivity there. Question here, can we change zip codes during the campaign? Yes, we can change the zip code. That's just a quick contact with the support team, and we can get that zip code changed for you as well. What else we got here?
Maybe, I know you said this at the beginning, but just kind of, can you just highlight all the things that are kind of just done for you here so that folks understand it's like, why wouldn't I just do all this myself? Maybe you can explain how that's all connected and automated for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, first and foremost, from the ad perspective, we're creating the ad on your behalf, and we're also continually optimizing the ad. So when we create these ads, we don't have just one version of them. We've got about 10 to 15 different versions that we're running in rotation on your behalf. And we're constantly testing, and the ad that performs the best, we tend to run that one longer. And then as we're going through and we're looking at the population of all the people that have these ads, we're looking at what's converting, and then we're making adjustments across the board. So purely from an ad optimization standpoint, we're doing that on your behalf. The other thing that is easier with us is that we are directly integrated right into kvCORE. So you've got, if you're going to go out and do this on your own, for example, and you go and create an ad on Facebook and you want to get those leads coming into kvCORE, you've got to invest in something like Zapier. You have to do some technical configuration. You got to get your Zapier hooked up to your kvCORE system. And that's something else you've got to do. We're taking care of everything from perspective of the Facebook business. We're running all of those ads through our system. We're also taking care of some of the regulatory things that go along with this. Facebook has had some big rule changes recently. For example, when we initially built this product, we were going to have a lead form. They don't allow lead forms anymore. We've pivoted that, and now we've got the ability to have the form in the background. We're also tracking that form and continually updating and trying to make that form more conducive to conversions. So there's generally a lot of optimization that goes around in the background and management of the ads and the infrastructure around the ads that you don't have to deal with. It is something you've got to deal with. Make sure your ad is running, when it's running, turning it off on days when it's not performing for you, optimizing it. There's a lot of that we're doing on your behalf in the background that you don't have to worry about, as well as the integration there as well, where we're triggering your kvCORE is already set up for this. So you don't, as soon as you sign up for this program and any leads that come in, we're hitting that smart campaign for them. Basically, it's sort of like set it and forget it. If at the very basic, you can kind of go in, click a couple buttons, put your credit card down, and we take care of the rest for you, as opposed to having to go in and do all the configuration on your own.
Hey, Cameron, we're getting a lot of questions about how many agents per zip code, or, what's the cap? And can you just let them know again? I know you talked about that earlier.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule, but typically it's about 3 agents per zip code is the maximum we'd want to have. You know, we may have some zip codes that have a lot more you know, availability and lead volume that we can make it a little bigger, but it's around 3 to 5 per zip code is the maximum.
Okay, thank you.
There's a question here. Are we planning to expand this to include Google Ads? And we are, yes. We're actually running some Google Ad tests right now. That'll be the next evolution of this. That's another benefit to going with our product is that as we add more advertisers, they're going to be added in, and then your spend is going to be kind of just dispersed amongst the different advertisers, and we'll just be adding those in as they become available, as opposed to you having to go in and do it on your own. So we'll always manage the ad spend and make sure that it's you know, producing throughout the different advertisers.
This is maybe a technical detail. I'm not sure what's going on, but Jeff's just asking if the ads are run on their individual Facebook business page, or kind of like how's that delivery handled?
So right now, we are delivering these through a generic Facebook business page. It's like on this slide here, real estate for sale is not, it's not actually real estate for sale. It's called like free home value estimates is the real estate page that we're running it on. My screenshot's out of date here, but we are going to introduce page linking by the end of this year. So very soon we'll be starting that process where you'll be able to go in and then link your advertising to your own Facebook page. Today, we don't offer that. It's quite a cumbersome process. So we're doing some work to try and build that, make it a little bit more streamlined and make it easier to hook those things up. But it's not available yet, but it will be available soon.
The camera's one benefit of the way we're doing it now. It's like they don't even have to worry about having a Facebook business page.
That's right.
Setting that
Yeah,
up. None of that's
absolutely
required.
Yeah, if you don't have a Facebook page, I've heard from a lot of agents, they've asked questions in past advertising related webinars about my Facebook was hacked, I don't have one, you know, my Facebook business page is from a different brokerage, whatever it is. You don't need to worry about that because your Facebook persona online is not tied to this at all at the moment. So you have that ability to use a generic page using our tool. So if you do have trouble with Facebook, or you don't think you're eligible for whatever reason, you don't have a business page, you only have a personal one, it doesn't matter. We're running these through a generic page right now.
Catherine's asking, when we do work Google in, will that just be kind of an automatic thing? They don't have
Correct.
to necessarily do anything there.
Yeah, it'll just be updated. And then if we add like Amazon or LinkedIn or TikTok or who knows what comes up next, you won't have to worry about it. It'll just be sort of added into the mix. And then we'll manage the spend across the different advertisers that way.
Yeah, I just want to add there again, that's part of the proposition from us. Like we're going to layer these in, and we're going to continue optimizing the mix to just ensure lead quality and volume, so they don't have to think about that in the future.
Yeah, and then as we go down that path, you know, some markets may perform better with Google than Facebook, and we'll reflect that in the spend, and other ones will do better on Facebook than Google, and vice versa. So we'll always have that. Your question, how does the system recognize your ad versus others and come to you? So that is a great question. We actually, the lead form actually lives on your kvCORE website. So when we put these together, the first thing that you do when you're buying when you're buying the package is you're going to select your website, and we pass that along, and that's how we identify you. So when a lead clicks on the Learn More button, they're directed to this form that you see on the screen that will be on your website. And that's how they get to you. Great question here from Lenora. In a non-disclosure state with no closed data in the IDX feed, we don't use kvCORE for market report. So can the lead receive a direct from agent? Absolutely. So in those situations when we don't have the ability to send out our market report because we don't have the data, we don't. They will receive the other contacts from you in the smart campaign, but you can send the market report directly to them. You don't have to rely on, if there is no data for us in kvCORE, you can produce that report on your own, reach out to them and have that conversation with them to get that information to them. There's a question here, when will phone number be ready and part of the lead capture data transferred to kvCORE? That's actually something that we're working on right now. So it'll probably be within the next little while, without getting too committal on it, probably within the next month. That'll be available and out. And it'll just be an evolution. So essentially the way it's going to work is you'll submit the lead with name and email address, and then another page will come up and we'll ask you for additional details about your home, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, the condition of the property, and then we also request a phone number at that stage too, and then we'll update the lead that you already received with a phone number. So it'll just sort of be a nice little way to up the ante on those leads that are coming in as well. Okay. Great question, Karen. You sign up through the marketplace. So you go into kvCORE, you navigate to the marketplace, and you can search for, actually it shows up right at the very top of the page. It's under Get Seller Leads is what it looks like. You'll see a nice little, let me just get to the slide with the icon. So you're going to look for this nice little funnel with the coin dropping into it. You click on Get Started, Add to kvCORE. That's where you're going to select your budget. You're going to pick your website from a drop-down list, and then you're going to set your zip code, and away you go. So it's fairly simple to get up and running. Carolyn, great question. It is ready to go. It's up and running, so you can go and sign up right now. I encourage you to do so. So it's available to you. You can sign up right now. So if you decide, sorry, I was just going to answer a question here from Patty. So if you decide to opt out of the program once you've captured the leads and the campaign has been started, will the campaign continue to send out text? Yes, it will. So really, what you're opting out of is the paid portion of this is actually the advertisement that's running. Once the leads are in your system, they are yours. You've purchased them. You can go ahead and do whatever you want with them for as long as you want. So if you run it for a few months and then you want to just work the leads you've got, absolutely do that. That's totally fine. Sorry, Nick, I cut you off there as you were going to ask a question.
It's okay. I just wanted to answer Rose's question about the lead form page. There's just some desire to possibly personalize it, but I think you can speak. It's on the agent's actual website today. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So it's on your website. It matches the look and feel of your website. And then on the thank you page, there's a number of links that will actually direct you directly to your search pages on your website. So it is in your website. The ad is not customized. It's generic right now. Once we include the page linking, that'll change. But it is, it's pretty generic right now, but it's continuing to evolve as well. One last time in terms of finding the page for Get Seller Leads in kvCORE in the marketplace, that's where you're going to find it. So you're going to log into kvCORE, navigate to the marketplace, and it shows up right at the top of the page in the first row of apps.
Can you answer Steven's question real quick again? As a broker buyer, do you recommend they sign up under the office website or their individual broker agent?
I would do it at the office website, because then you have more control over, sorry, not more control, but then the leads are coming in owned as the company. And then you can distribute them using lead routing. So I would sign up with the brokerage office website. Would be my recommendation. Okay. Well, that takes us to 2:40. We've got time for just a couple more questions. Is there anything else that jumps out there, Nick, that we should answer before we move on?
Yeah, if you can just, Shelby might have missed it earlier, but just kind of a refresh on pricing.
Yep.
Again, just to let folks know about the budget and the zip codes piece.
Yeah, absolutely. So pricing $500 to up to a $1,500 spend. It's one zip code per subscription. So if you sign up for $500, that gets you one zip code. It's month to month. So your ad is running every day for the whole month that you're purchasing. 3-month commitment up front. So we do ask for that 3-month commitment to make sure that the ad gets up and running and performing well before you opt out of it. It gives us that ability to get things going. If you wanted to run multiple zip codes, it's multiple purchases. So you could take a $1,500 spend. You could split it between 3 different zip codes, for example, and buy 3 $500 subscriptions, and then sort of blanket 3 different zip codes with advertisement. The one thing I would caution you about that is to take a look at your zip codes and how close they are to one another, because what I've found with multiple zip codes in an advertisement is that they can overlap a bit. So we want to be careful about that and take a look at those zip codes and make sure that they're spread out enough that we're not going to get too much overlap in our radius, but definitely something you can do to take care of having multiple zip codes running. Okay, well, everybody, thank you so much for your time and attention today, and your questions have been great. If you do have any additional questions, feel free to reach out through the support icon in the kvCORE system. We'll be happy to get those answered for you. We will be sending out a recording of this tomorrow, along with those screenshots of the market reports and the valuation reports. We'll include those in there as well as a sample. And thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.